eilen ja veissi tässä. Tää vähän valoa tänne. Sinne vaan. Spinnaa mun puoleen, serkkuu. Spinnaa mun puoleen! Pakko läkkänä.
If a girl's not opening up, Starboy's rude with that. Couldn't let me get cold in a touching. Then my tits are cold. Your ex had no one.
Mandem, I don't know what was in that balloon, but I'm licked. Swear down. Fam, tell me I'm not seeing this. Why is a fox staring at man like that?
You need to leave London, bro.
People! It's buzzing. Never again, man, them. Sure, man's head is moving mad right now. I feel like I'm watching myself from outside my body, innit? Hey, thanks for watching, man, them. If you're trying to blow on TikTok like man did fire, links in the bio, innit? Do your thing.
If a girl's not opening up, start with you.
Man, them, I don't know what was in that balloon, but I'm licked. Swear down. Tell me I'm not seeing this. Why is a fox staring at man like that?
You need to leave London, bro.
People! I can't lie, man's buzzing. Never again, man, them. Sure, man's head is moving mad right now. I feel like I'm watching myself from outside my body, innit? Hey, thanks for watching, man, them. If you're trying to... I came across your Insta. Big Bird, Sesame, Big Minger Energy. Right.
If you drink beer every day.
Ai vittu, oli hyvät päikkä. Nyt vaan suihkuu, iltapesu ja sit nukkuu.
Jos on tuleva opiskelija, jos on tuleva opiskelija.
Level 1 and 3. When she levels up, she increases her max health. Level 1 is 150 health, level 2 is 300 health, level 3 is 600 health. Abigail's damage changes. You can use Abigail's Cloud to summon her. Abigail levels up between level 1 and 3. When she levels up, she increases her max health. Level 1 is 150 health, level 2 is 300 health, level 3 is 600 health. Abigail's damage changes depending on the time of day. So if it's daytime, she does 15 damage. If it's dusk, it's 25 damage. And if it's nighttime or she's in the caves, it's 40 damage. Now, whenever Abigail gets hit, she generates an invincibility shield for a small amount of time, and if a bunch of spiders hit her all at once, she doesn't take all of the damage. When Abigail hits an enemy, she vexes them, which increases all of the damage they take by 10%, and if Abigail and Wendy is attacking the same thing, the Wendy...
Superhuippu mega hyvä etu BookBeatiltä on täällä. Nyt voit kokeilla BookBeatia 90 päivää maksussa. Kuuntele inspiroivia, jännittäviä tai ehkä intohimoisia kirjoja. Hyödynnä etu ja löydä seuraava suosikkisi yli 1 miljoonan kirjan valikoimasta.
BookBeat. Nothing beats a good book. Sarille on tärkeää myydä auto parhaaseen hintaan. Siksi AutoVex. Yhdellä myynti-ilmoituksella Sari tavoitti autoliikkeet ympäri Suomen. Liikkeiden kilpailutus varmisti parhaan hinnan autosta.
40% more damage. This effectively means that Wendy does 1.155 times damage. Abigail also works as a light source. Wendy can craft a Sif Stern and decorate it with petals, which restores 25 sanity per minute, and it levels up Abigail 4 times faster. And Wendy can make various potions for Abigail that buffs her damage to nighttime damage, buffs her speed, and restores her HP faster. It also can buff her shield. The most notable thing about Wendy is it's just utilizing Abigail to have massive crowd control against monkeys, spiders, and other small mobs. Abigail doesn't fare too well against against bosses, she counts as an NPC, and most bosses do increase damage against NPCs. Wendy won't receive any kind of damage bonus versus nightmare creatures since Abigail can't attack nightmare creatures. Wendy's a very beginner-friendly character, since you basically have a personal bodyguard to fall back on, so we're gonna give her a survivability of 7, utility of 8 because Abigail is very handy to use for your teammates, and a combat of 7 out of 10 because the DPS with Wendy with a Dark Sword and Abigail combined is about 214, which is pretty damn good. Next we have the evil robot WX-78 that's going to take over the entire world. WX starts with 150 HP, hunger, and sanity, but each time he eats gears, all of his stats get upgraded up to 15 times, meaning his HP can go up to 400, his hunger can go up to 200, and his sanity can go up to 300. Also, whenever WX eats gears, it restores a lot of stats, those being 60 HP, 75 hunger, and 50 sanity, though make sure you save 1 gear for your fridge. And if you die as WX, you drop half the gears that you used to level up. So if you ate 10 gears to level up, if you die, you will drop 5 gears. When WX is wet or he's in the rain without rain protection, he takes a small amount of damage every few seconds. And now the best thing about WX is when he gets hit by lightning, he becomes overcharged 4 to 8 minutes per lightning strike. And while WX is overcharged, he has a 50% movement speed increase, so 1.5 times movement speed. He emits light in a small radius, which means he's immune to darkness death, and WX is immune to freezing. And WX ignores all food penalties for the food being spoiled or stale. So solo WX is kind of just a little bit better Wilson because you can eat gears, but once you have a wicked bottom on your team who can keep you overcharged for a very long time, if not indefinitely, then he becomes an amazing character. So these ratings are assuming that your WX is always overcharged, so he has a survivability rating of 7 out of 10 since he has such high stats. Utility 7 out.
We're growing.
This is probably my last video down here in downtown LA. I'm gonna leave before things get too wicked. I don't have any like high-level masks or anything to protect me from the tear gas. I can already feel my throat getting a little fucked up just from the residual smoke that's in the air. I just want to remind you guys, they've declared what we're doing unlawful. Meanwhile, ICE is going into homes and businesses and stealing people. It's not a like, oh, let's send these people home thing. They're sending these people to detention centers. They're arresting these people as if they've done something wrong. A majority of these people being people that went through the legal process, that tried to become citizens and got denied, and then are being thrown in jail like criminals. I know you guys can hear the helicopter. It's flying so fucking low down to the ground. Like, I know for a fact that's some intimidation shit. If you're in LA, if you're close to the protest and you're thinking about coming out and showing your support, please do. We need y'all to show up and be safe. We need that. I'll be out here again tomorrow, kind of seeing what's up. Hopefully things get a little bit better. This is probably my last video down here in downtown LA. Elon
Sisältö.
Mikä susta tulee Lassi Isola? Nyt on hyvä. Kehakummia aiheuttaa ongelmia yhteiskunnalle. Miksi? Tää vittua. Mitä? No mitä? Kerro vaan minkä mun... Miksi sä haluat aiheuttaa ongelmia yhteiskunnalle? Samanlaista kuin Upi. Mä oon miettinyt vaan, että mitä nyt mä aiheutan yhteiskunnan nykyään. Mä tiedän. En mä yritä matkia Upia, mutta siinä, että kun mä mietin, että mitä mä teen isona ja mitä mä oon tuottanut tähän. Miksi sä haluat tehdä pahaa? Sitä mäkin kyseenalaista. Oot sä nyt tosissas? Täydessä. Vittu, oot mietin puhuin ja mietin samalla. Mikä susta tulee Lassi Isona? Nyt on hyvä.
This is what Europeans...
Haluaisitko se kodin näistä maisemista? Vuosaaren Ybberiltä. Haluaisitko se kodin näistä?
We have information that...
Somessa on levinnyt tällaisia mielenosoitusvideoita viikonloppuna, mutta mistä tässä on oikein kyse? Yhdysvalloissa Los Angelesissa on osoitettu mieltä koko viikonloppu presidentti.
Osservaattomassa siskoa ja sun Come to Africa, you kill animals only to collect the horns and leaving the meat to rot on the ground. Are you okay? And then when they see us putting on skins like this, they want to look like they're conservationists. No, you can't be putting on animal skins, but you're sitting on a leather chair with leather shoes, with a leather belt. Are you okay in your head? With a leather car. What kind of hypocrisy is that? You pollute the whole world with carbon. Then you come around and say, please, let's do some green energy. Shut your industries up if you're talking about green energy. You have lied to us for too long. And the honeymoon of lies is over. Our land was taken away, which affected our agriculture. McDonald's is not a culture. Pizzas are not a culture. We have a culture of food where our women took seeds underneath their tongues, their DNA, and planted it on the ground, spoke to the plants, harvested them, brought the plants between their legs, took the meal for their children, fed their children, and that's a culture of food preservation, not food security, but food sustainability, because food can duplicate itself. Next time you're eating a fruit and it doesn't have seeds, throw it away. It has no life in it. After messing up our education. Minun nimi on Jari, mihin muut seinäjoita tonne? Onko sä naapuri? Aina olla. On mikä hoita. Siellä on kuullut, että ihmiset muuttuvat, kun ne muuttavat Kallioon. Mutta minä on seinäjoita. Kallio ei muuta minua. Mä oon muuta Kallioon.
3 days later.
Mitä minä tää tässä? Yeah bro, from Kallioinen vibes. Yeah, osa kertoo, mitä sulla perään tässä Turmilla? Aloittaa lipiksestä bro, di Balenciaga, huppari, Rick Owens, takki, Chrome Hearts, housut, vintage, kengät, sä näet bro, Cortez, Honey Black, you know the vibe. Lasit, vaatteiden kierrätyskeskuksessa, mitä muut saavat tietää, Brady. Niin sä oot saanut vaatteet, kerro mullekin. Mä voin kertoa, se on mun salaisuus. Mä kerton sulle kaikki yhtä freshistä kuin minä. Oi vitsi, miten mä oon niinku sinä kerät vuolinen kuin minä, bro, tälle synnytään, you know the vibes. What's up, Vision, bro. Tänään mä ollaan äsken tää mun lempipaikka shopsalla. Siitä, miten niillä tarjotaan mulle, let's get it. Oi, tällaista tehtiin, bro. Tää mun kroppen paita tuohon alas, boksit, valkoiset Calvin Kleinit näkyy, housut mä tiputtaa stopasti, samasta ja fresh, kyllä tää lähtee messiin, bro, kyllä tää lähtee messiin. Bro, mä tarvitsen faukut, tietsä, nää on lihan kapeet, mä haluan semmoset niin leveät, että 2 ihmistä tuppuu niihin käsiin. Mä haluan semmoset, nausmut. Tällä se ryskitellä.
If I was in charge of this country, you wouldn't even get to put your foot on the fucking sand, mate. You'd be taken out. Okay, you'd be given a warning. If you do not turn your boat around, I'll authorise the Army, the Navy, the British Air Force to take you out, mate. Literally. The jets would be up in the sky, missiling your asses. The Navy would be there with a fucking submarine, mate, fucking firing every bullet at you. Simple as that. You'd be told to turn around. If you don't turn around, that's you finished. End of. You're not coming to my country if I was running the joint. I would also put borders all around, all walls all around the borders, man. Like Egypt's done, they've got a massive wall around the borders with barbed wire. How comes they can do that, we can't do that, yeah? How comes Poland does it, we don't do it? Because we are fucking weak. We are weak, yeah? We need borders. We need to use our Navy. Stop stopping the Navy doing their job saying, oh no, don't stop them. Let them come in. Oh, RNLI, yeah, pick them up, please. 1,200 people came here the other day. They had to get extra boats. RNLI and other Coast Guard to help pick these dirt bags up, yeah? We're on the way to about 50,000 these fuckers coming this year. 50 fucking thousand, they reckon, is predicted. It's a joke. If I was in charge of this country, you wouldn't even get to put...
What?
I don't...
Out of 10 simply because he can run around really fast, and his combat is also 7 out of 10 since he can kite with no problem since he moves so fast. And now speaking of Wickerbottom, let's talk about Wickerbottom and her books. So Wickerbottom has a very high sanity of 250. She takes less nutrition from food that is stale or spoiled, but she can craft a bunch of books which have really wacky and powerful effects. So we're going to briefly talk about all of them. And only Wickerbottom and Maxwell can read these books. I mean, Work can also read these books, but it doesn't trigger the effects. So firstly, Birds of the World will cause 20 to 30 birds to fly down from the sky in an area around the player who read the book. This book can be used to make a bunch of wacky farms like feather farms, Krampus sack farms, and stuff like that. Horticulture abridged when read, force grows up to 10 plants which grow edible produce, such as vegetables. Crops grown in this way won't ever grow into giants, by the way. Applied Silviculture is a book that forces all non-edible plants to grow in the area around you, and it has no limit. This is typically used for low plant farms with grass and twigs. Next we have Sleepy Time Stories, which is exactly like a pan flute. It puts everything around you to sleep, but it has a bigger range, but also a longer casting animation. On Tentacles is a book that spawns up to 3 tentacles at a random location near the reader. These tentacles can be used to cheese bosses like Bee Queen and Dragonfly. And finally, The End is Nigh. This book summons 16 lightning bolts, but as you saw before, these lightning bolts would rather target WX or a lightning conductor. So the best use for this book is just overcharging WX. All these books have limited uses, so you have to craft them again, and they cost sanity to read, although you can keep reading them even if you hit 0 sanity. Wickerbottom has access to all science machine recipes without a science machine, and she can make all alchemy engine recipes with just a science machine. Wickerbottom can't sleep, so she cannot utilize tents, so her survivability is 5 out of 10 because her books can't immediately save her in a pinch. Her utility though is a 9 out of 10, because the amount of wacky farms you can set up with Wickerbottom is insane, and her combat is 5 out of 10, but it's worth noting that she can kind of use her tentacles in combat.
on tentacles and have them fight wherever you're trying to fight. Next we have Woody. Woody has a permanent beard that you cannot shave. This keeps you insulated in winter, but also warms you up in summer. Woody starts with an infinite axe called Lucy, and Woody himself will chop trees faster and more efficiently, and he has a higher chance to spawn tree guards. Now, Woody's main gimmick is that he can transform into 3 were creatures: a were goose, a were moose, and a were beaver. So let's talk about them. The were goose moves 1.4 times faster and can walk on water, so it's good for early game scouting. The were moose has 90% damage reduction, does 59.5 damage per swing, but moves at 90% of the speed of a normal player. The were beaver chops efficiently and faster. He mines and hammers as well, but not as efficiently as a normal character. Were beaver cannot summon tree guards, and he moves 10% faster. All of these forms have night vision, and all of them have their very own were meter, which slowly drains, but it drains faster if you're not doing the corresponding activity for the creature. So for the were goose, if you're not moving, it drains faster. For the were moose, if you're not fighting, it drains faster. And for the were beaver, if you're not working,
sacrifice for $6 for the chance.
then it drains faster. And all of the forms cannot pick up items or interact with the player's inventory, so you can't eat food or gather items from the ground. When you transform, you drop all of your worn items except for your backpack, and to transform, you can eat 2 monster foods to transform into a random one, or you can craft an idol to choose which one you transform into. When you transform back into Woody, your hunger is set to 0, so for survivability, he can use his forms to get out of trouble sometimes, so survivability is 6. Utility is also a 6 because he can gather materials quite nicely and he can scout with the goose. And his combat, I'm going to give him a 5. His combat isn't very good. Since the weremoose's DPS is worse than a player with a combat unless you animation cancel, but that's kind of a lot of effort. And he's not the best at anything that he does, but he does do a lot of things. Next we have Wes. Wes is meant to be the challenge character, so he has 0.75 times damage modifier, so he does less damage all the time. But he can make some balloons, most notably a balloon that can buff your speed by 30%. Wes is more susceptible to overheating and freezing. He takes longer to recover from grogginess, so like when you wake up. Hounds will rather chase Wes rather than other characters. Lightning strikes are more likely to hit Wes over other characters. Also, Wes is a mime, so he does not speak, so no audible or visual warnings will appear when something's happening, like a hound attack. No, Wes takes longer to mine, chop, and hammer. But because he takes longer to mine, chop, and hammer, his tools last longer. So for survivability, Wes is the worst, so 1 out of 10. His utility, surprisingly enough, he can make a speed boost, which is very good for the earth game when you got paint. So 6 out of 10 for utility. His combat is 3 out of 10. He does 75% damage. On Maxwell, the big bad of the constant. Maxwell regenerates 6.75 sanity a minute naturally without any clothing. He also has slightly low HP at 75, but he can craft shadow puppets. These shadow puppets are the miner, chopper, digger, and duelist, all of which take up a certain percentage of his max sanity. All the workers have 1 HP and require their corresponding tool actions. The duelist requires a spear and I know. The duelist's damage isn't very good because it only does 40 damage and attacks once every 2 seconds, but it regenerates 7.5 HP a second, has a max HP of 75, and it does try to kite enemies, but usually it dies pretty fast. It's worth noting Maxwell is one of the best wood gatherers in the game if he uses 3 choppers and 1 digger, and Maxwell can read Wickerbottom's books. So overall survivability, I would give him a 5 out of 10, but the low HP could have an impact in gameplay because it means you basically always need armor, so we'll put a 4 out of 10 for survivability. His utility is 9 out of 10, and his combat is 5 out of 10, assuming that you do have armor on. So, Wickford only eats meat and the goodies, such as taffy, jelly beans, mushy cake, and goat jelly, and she does 25% more damage, and also takes utility is 9 out of 10, and his combat is 5 out of 10, assuming that you do have armor. So Wickford only eats meat and the goodies such as taffy, jelly beans, mushy cake, and goat jelly, and she does 25% more damage and also takes 25% less damage. She can craft her own battle spears, which only do 42.5 damage, which is not very good. She can craft battle helmets, which provide 80% damage reduction and almost twice the durability of football helmets. While she's fighting, she restores sanity and health, and she gains inspiration while fighting. She can create songs that have various effects, which cost inspiration to activate. Some of these songs are passive, whereas some of them you activate once for a one single effect. Her survivability is 10 out of 10. She regenerates health and sanity just by fighting. Her utility is 7 out of 10 because she can make really good battle helmets for the team. And her combat is 6 out of 10 since she does 25% more damage. Ybbetter is a spider. He has 175 hunger and HP with 100 sanity. He could eat monster foods without the traditional negative effects of monster food. He grows a beard that you can shave for silk, which also provides insulation in winter. Spiders are neutral towards weather, and he can upgrade spider dens with silk. When feeding a spider monster meat, it becomes befriended, and it also befriends 3 other spiders nearby. Mobs which are naturally aggressive to spiders are also aggressive to Ybbetter, like pigs, bunnymen, and raccoons. Ybbetter can craft items to turn spiders into different kinds of spiders, and he has equipment to pull spiders out of their nest and to de-aggro spiders, and he can decorate dens with den decorating sets to make those spiders in those nests neutral towards all other characters. Ybber's best use is just utilizing spider hordes in combat, though if the boss has an air of effects attack, they die pretty fast. Ybbetter can also start spider wars for easy meat and silk. So overall, he's a pretty solid character. We've been given 6s all across the board. Now we have Winona, the sister of Charlie. Winona will consume hunger to craft faster, which is kind of useful if you're making lots of stuff. But if Winona doesn't have more than 50 hunger, she won't consume hunger and she crafts slower. If Winona is in darkness, she dodges the first attack from Charlie. And she has her own crafting tab, and in this crafting tab, she can make trusty tape, which is the same as one use of a sewing kit, but it's also used to make all of her other things in this tab. So then we have Winona's catapult. This is an aerial protection turret, which is actually pretty good, which can be used for a bunch of wacky farms, and it needs to be fueled by one of the 2 generators, either Winona's generator or Winona's generator. The generator takes niter to fuel, whereas the generator takes gems to fuel. And she has a Winona spotlight, which aims a spotlight at the player within its range, and its radius is not very big. Oh.
Trump teki aivan poikkeuksellisen päätöksen. Trump teki aivan poikkeuksellisen päätöksen. Määräämät tuhansia kansalliskaartin sotilaita vastaan. Aloisin melkat johtuu siis siitä, että ihmisiä painii paperittomien siirtolaisiin kohdistuvat ratsiat ja pahoitukset. Nämä melkojat on sitten esimerkiksi polttanut autoja, poliisi on julistanut kokoontumiset laittomiksi ja vastannut tähän kyynelkaasulla ja tainnutuksella. Toimittajakin sai kylmästä.
Ja tästä Tistonis on yhden muijan, joka on kirjaimellisesti jakanut sen henkilötunnuksen sosiaalisen, tai en tiedä, onko se oikea henkilötunnus, mutta se on niinku... On se, että se näytti sen Kela-kortin. Niin, voitteko sitä informoida mua niinku sitten... Kun sitä henkilötunnusta on käytetty johonkin bullshittiin, koska mä haluan tietää. Hän siis basically uskoo, tai ei usko, niin ihan vitun irtautunut todellisuudesta ja muija. Se ei halua, että häneen liitetään mitään random numeroita, niin se on jakanut henkilötunnuksen sosiaaliseen mediaan. Niin please kertokaa mulle sit, kun sen henkilötunnuksella on tehty jotain hauskaa. Ja tästä Tistonis on yhden muijan, joka on kirjaimellisesti...
Yes, I made. Listen for a second, okay? Elon got kicked out of the government, right? No, he voluntarily left. because Trump keeps wanting building the Cybertrucks in a circle in the back, not with a UFO. No. Elon was trying to reboot John Ford on the back deck of the White House. And the reason Trump kicked him out was this. Trump's afraid John Ford will be running the United States of America by 2028. I want him to be rebooted. I don't know if Microsoft's involved, but listen, anybody help, bring it on. I don't care if it's Apple or whatever, but listen, the reason I brought up Microsoft or Apple is this. It's weird when you're trying to reboot a person through a hair follicle, it's run through a lot of computers, and you're gonna need Microsoft, you're gonna need Apple, you're gonna need all those Japanese computers. But it's the whole thing is kind of electrical. I think Johnny Depp was in a movie like that. And you end up in the wires and stuff like that. I don't want my friend John in the wire. I don't want him rebooted, I want him relocated, But there's no body. Listen for a second, okay?
Yo, I'm gonna be dead honest. Whoever owns this Airbnb, I'm not cleaning this shit up. Like, this is just not my problem. I don't feel like cleaning up because it hurts. Yo, I'm gonna be dead honest.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win so much. You may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, "Please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore, Mr. President. It's too much." And I'll say, "No, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We're gonna win so much. You may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. This tired of winning, and you're we're gonna win so much. You may even get tired of winning. And we're gonna win so much. You may even get tired of winning, and you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore, Mr. President. It's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning.
I love whenever you're talking to a girl and they mention that they used to talk to some sort of pro athlete. And at first they act all discreet. They're like, I can't really say whatever, but I'm gonna grill them. I'm gonna get that information out of them. Because, you brought it up. I didn't ask for this. And eventually they'll be like, oh, they'll name some gigantic star. And I'll be like, lady, why are you lying? Like, Jason Tatum, you were not fucking with Jason Tatum. You were just at the club one time with Jason Tatum and he happened to be at the table next to you. In that case, I fuck with Jason Tatum. You know what? Pause. You get it. You get the point. But when it really gets scary, and when I know they're telling the truth, is when they pull out a name that I haven't heard in years. I remember I was talking to this girl once, and she's like, yeah, I used to fuck with the NBA player. And I was like, yeah. I was going through my whole thing. I was like, who you about to say? Who you about to say? LeBron, Kobe? Like, who's it going to be? She said, Monte Morris, bro, the backup Denver Nuggets point guard at the time. I said, oh, you got it. You are not lying. You...
Nallepaita, se nalle kollege.
You know
what's crazy? I'm going to O-Block.
Yeah.
I'm doing 24 hours in O-Block.
Do not do that, Neil.
It's locked.
You're doing a 24 hours in O-Block.
Yeah.
The fucking president of the United States is foaming at the mouth for violence and troops to be used against American people on American soil. Just half an hour ago, he's posting in all caps, arrest the people in face masks now. He also says, looking really bad in LA, bring in the troops. He also posted, Jim McDonnell, the highly respected LAPD chief, just stated that the protesters are getting very much more aggressive and that he would have to reassess the situation as it pertains to bringing the troops. He should, right now, don't let those thugs get away with this, make America great again. He wants violence. He wants people to be hurt. This sick fuck.
Wagwan tässä. Haluan tehdä. Wagwan tässä. Haluan tehdä. Wagwan tässä. Haluan tehdä.
Vagandes. Aluva deck. 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 Vagandes. Aluva deck.
Tykkäsitte siitä tai että Cristiano Ronaldo on edelleen 40-vuotiaana suuressa roolissa Portugalin maajoukkueessa. Semifinaalissa 1 maali, finaalissa 1 maali Nations Leaguessa. Ja tämän kuva tässä tulee jäämään historia. Tämän hetken maailman paras putaaja sekä yksi kaikkien aikojen suurimmista putaareista. Ja Nunmes aivan uskomaton peto, tekee töitä ylös.
Siis menen nukkuun nyt vaan ollaan niinku, ei.
The alleged killer of 14-year-old Daniel Angerin was a flat Earth conspiracy theorist inspired by Elon Musk, a court has heard. Marcus Arduini Monzo allegedly smiled after slashing a pedestrian's neck during a rampage that left the teenager dead. He had reportedly told a woman before the alleged attacks that we live under a dome controlled by evil lizard aliens. Monzo is accused of murdering Daniel and attempting to kill 4 others in northeast London last April. He denies the charges. The alleged killer of 14-year-old Daniel Angerin was a flat Earth conspiracy theorist inspired by Elon Musk, the court has heard. Marcus Arduini Monzo allegedly smiled after slashing a pedestrian's neck during a rampage that left the teenager dead. He had reportedly told a woman before the alleged attacks that we live under a dome controlled by evil lizard aliens. Monzo is accused of murdering Daniel and attempting to kill 4 others in northeast London last April. He denies the charges. The alleged killer of 14-year-old Daniel Angerin was a flat Earth conspiracy theorist inspired by Elon Musk, a court has heard. Marcus Arduini Monzo allegedly smiled after slashing a pedestrian's neck during a rampage that left the teenager dead. He had reportedly told a woman before the alleged attacks that we live under a dome controlled by evil lizard aliens. Monzo is accused of murdering Daniel and attempting to kill 4 others in northeast London last April. He denies the charges. The alleged killer of 14-year-old Daniel Angerin was a flat Earth conspiracy theorist inspired by Elon Musk, the court has heard. Marcus Arduini Monzo allegedly smiled after slashing a pedestrian's... And after years of
all jokes aside, if somebody doesn't check that, all jokes aside, if somebody doesn't check that motherfucker, soon, I'm talking like in a matter of days, there will be another civil war on American soil. I don't like making posts like this. I don't want to get on here and fearmonger.
Mun äiti siis halusi Pohjoistan pitää ravintolasijoittajia Helsingissa Lapin vuonna 2005. Täältä siis Albertis Mexico Aircraft, which I love. Let's screenshot tästä menestä, jos mennään vielä tarkasti.
Angel Reese is going viral for showing up to her most recent game looking like this as her team proceeded to get blown out by over 30 points. The cheapest tickets for last night's game between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky were going for about $100 before Caitlin Clark got injured. But once Caitlin Clark got injured and people only were coming to see Angel Reese, the tickets dropped to $3 each. So with the cheapest WNBA tickets for an Indiana Fever game all year going on, the Indiana Fever proceeded to beat the Chicago Sky by over 27 points, meaning they have now beat them by 62 points throughout this season. Chicago Sky actually only put up 52 points yesterday, which is the lowest points in a WNBA game in the last 10 years. And Angel Reese now has set a record because she currently has more rebounds than points in her WNBA career. This Indiana Fever fan account said Angel Reese pulling up to the game like it's New York Fashion Week and leaving with 4 points and 2 rebounds. Angel Reese is going viral for showing up to her most recent game looking like this as her team proceeded to get blown out by over 30 points. The cheapest tickets for last night's game between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky were going for about $100 before Caitlin Clark got injured.
The Trump administration is now detaining legal residents who have lived here for half a century. I'm not going to stop talking about these people, because if we do, they disappear forever. And you shouldn't believe anyone who says that fighting back on immigration is bad politics. So let me give you a quick rundown of some of the most alarming stories from just the last couple of weeks. Llewellyn Dixon is a 64-year-old woman who works at the lab tech at the University of Washington. She's been a permanent legal resident of the United States for 50 years. But when she returned from visiting family in the Philippines, ICE arrested her at the airport and held her in detention for 3 months. Marcelo Gomez de Silva, an 18-year-old high school student in Massachusetts, was on his way to volleyball practice when ICE pulled him over. Marcelo was brought to the United States as a child in 2012 and was given a student visa. He has no criminal record, but when ICE pulled him over looking for his father, he was arrested and detained. He was supposed to play in the band at graduation, but he's sitting in ICE detention. Also in Massachusetts, Samaron Faria de Souza, the father of a 4-month-old baby, was pulled over on his way to work when he hopped at an undercover car full of ICE agents. They arrested him, detained him, and signed a deportation order in his name without his consent, and he's now been deported to Brazil. And in Mississippi, a 31-year-old Danish man named Casper Eriksson, who's lived in the U.S. for 10 years on a green card, went to a routine appointment to finalize his U.S. citizenship. But after they discovered that he failed to file a single document more than 10 years ago, while he was still mourning the loss of his first child, he was detained by ICE. The Trump administration isn't deporting criminals or gang members. They're deporting students, neighbors, fathers, people who have lived here for longer than fascist Stephen Miller has been alive. We have to keep these stories in the spotlight, because if we don't, they'll continue using the cover of darkness to disappear people and take more of our rights. So share this video and follow me to keep fighting back. The Trump
He's gonna sue you. Don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. He said you sue me, you're just gonna get practice. What does that mean? No, Neon, that means that if you sue him, he has nothing to his name. It's all in trust. He's smart. We'll find a way. Hey, do you have a Jew as your lawyer?
How do you fucking know?
Because the trust method. I know the method.
You know the method?
Yeah. Hey. He's gonna sue you. Don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. He said you sue me, you're just gonna get practice. What does that mean? No, Neon, that means that if you sue him, he has nothing to his name. It's all in trust. He's smart. We'll find a way. Hey, do you have a Jew as your lawyer?
How do you fucking know?
Because the trust method. I know the method.
You know the method?
Yeah. Hey. He's gonna sue you. Don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. He said you sue me, you're just gonna get practice. What does that mean? No, Neon, that means that if you sue him, he has nothing to his name. It's all in trust. He's smart. We'll find a way. Hey, do you have a Jew as your lawyer?
How do you fucking know?
Because the trust method. I know the method.
You know the method?
Yeah. Hey. He's gonna sue you. Don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. He said you sue me, you're just gonna get practice. What does that mean? No, Neon, that means that if you sue him, he has nothing to his name. It's all in trust. He's smart. We'll find a way. Hey, do you have a Jew as your lawyer?
How do you fucking know?
Because the trust method. I know the method.
You know the method?
Yeah. Hey. He's gonna sue you. Don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. He said you sue me, you're just gonna get practice. What does that mean?
You ever think it's underrated?
No one thinks it's a good idea to lock up farm workers and construction workers. So why is the Trump administration doing it? I'm a civil rights lawyer and I work in a rural county where the federal government has been mass arresting farm workers with no criminal convictions. These are people who literally put food on our tables, and many of them have American citizen kids who are now basically orphaned. It doesn't make any sense, not for the economy, not for Americans, not for our country. But the reason the Trump administration is doing this is because many of these people end up in concentration camps. These camps aren't run by the federal government, they're run by private for-profit prison companies. One is GEO, whose stocks went up 50% when Trump got elected, and another is Core Civic. For each person that is in these camps, these companies charge American taxpayers $120,000. So the amount of people you see in this video, that's a few $1 million. Then these companies donate a percentage of their profits back to Trump and rinse and repeat. This is Trump's art of the deal. Lock hardworking people up away from their families, pay with taxpayer money, and profit. No one thinks it's a good idea to lock up farm workers and construction workers. So why is the Trump administration doing it? I'm a civil rights lawyer.
This is not okay. You don't have to do this. She just lost her father. Her father's in that truck. Do you see that? Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Her father's there. Her father is here. She is. This is what they're doing. Look at this. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. That's her father. That's her father. You don't have to do it. 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 You don't have to do it.
It's nice to meet you, Josh. Where are you from?
I'm from the fucking Bronx.
You ready to go take your bath?
Show me a...
You ready to go take your bath? Hey, listen, we're gonna have to talk about your personal hygiene. It's getting...
pretty... Show me a single fucking clip in the past 8 years of Donald Trump speaking intelligently about any policy decision, domestic or foreign. You will not find a single one. Not a single clip of the President of the United States speaking like he has any fucking wherewithal whatsoever about policy. Donald Trump, if you put him on stage right now, he wouldn't be able to tell you what a tariff is. He wouldn't be able to explain the responsibilities of the three branches of government. He wouldn't be able to do it. He doesn't know what the Attorney General is for. He doesn't know what the Department of Justice. He has no concept of any of these things. But he gets a pass by it because the media won't press him on it because they don't want to seem biased and because his supporters are fucking idiots. Show me a single fucking clip in the past 8 years of Donald Trump speaking intelligently about any policy decision, domestic or foreign. You will not find a single one. had a single clip of the President of the United States speaking like he has any wherewithal whatsoever about policy. Donald Trump, if you put him on stage right now, he wouldn't be able to tell you what a tariff is. He wouldn't be able to explain the responsibilities of the three branches of government. He wouldn't be able to do it. He doesn't know what the Attorney General is for. He doesn't know what the Department of Justice. He has no concept of any of these things. But he gets a pass by it because the media won't press him on it, because they don't want to seem biased, and because his supporters are fucking idiots. Show me a single fucking clip in the past 8 years. Welcome back.
Men are men. Are approximately 624% more likely to separate from a woman if a woman gets sick. If a man becomes terminally ill and his wife becomes the caretaker, there is a 2.9% separation rate. If the woman is terminally ill and their male partner becomes the caretaker, they leave at a 21% rate. Yes. What the fuck's going on there?
That is alarming, shocking. When people have gone through and interviewed these men.
Joku vastarijuristi oli sitä mieltä, että paperittomat ovat vailla poispääsyä tilanteestaan. No, ihan pari asiaa selvennykseksi tälle vastarijuristille. A. Täällä ei ole mitään paperittomia ihmisiä, he ovat laittomasti maassa olevia, ja B. Heillä on ulospääsy tilanteesta, ja se on yksisuuntainen lento kohti kotimaatansa. Kommentoi, mitä sä oot mieltä, mitä laittomasti maassa oleville pitäisi tehdä. Tykkää videosta, jos tykkäsit.
Do you know that
Haaveiletko
Honestly, I don't mind violating girls, but to my guys out there, this message is for you, yeah.
Google Earth has...
Jorma.
I brought
Do you ever think
no need you
all the other countries that wonder and say that
Do you know anyone?
joka päivä loppuun asti Smarttunin 50 € liikuntafound.
Portugal captain Cristiano Ronaldo.
You gotta do it alone. You gotta do it broke.
Portugal captain Cristiano Ronaldo has urged the media not to pile excessive pressure upon the young shoulders of Spain starlet Lamine Yamal ahead of their first meeting. Ronaldo, 40 and 17-year-old Yamal will share a pitch for the first time on Sunday when Portugal and Spain meet in Munich in the UEFA Nations League final. Yamal is already being touted as a future Ballon d'Or winner, but Ronaldo, a 5-time Ballon d'Or winner himself, believes that Yamal should be afforded time and space to develop, rather than being the subject of intense media focus and scrutiny. Ronaldo told reporters this week, "Lamine Yamal is doing very well, taking advantage of his talent. Let the kid grow. Don't put too much pressure on him. Let him be and grow well. Take the pressure off. He has no shortage of talent." Portugal captain Cristiano Ronaldo has urged the media not to pile excessive pressure upon the young shoulders of Spain starlet Lamine Yamal ahead of their first meeting.
You gotta do it.
I'm so good.
How much money? How much is in your checking account right now?
I have negative money in my checking account at the moment. So, yeah.
I get that you're unemployed, but
yeah.
But why is there negative money?
Because I've still had bills to pay. Like,
you got laid off, right?
I did.
Did you file for unemployment?
I did, but I called the unemployment office. I said,
okay,
please.
They're investigating you?
Yes, so one of my old jobs was like not agreeing to the terms that I was not employed there anymore.
What?
Yeah.
They're not agreeing to the terms that you're not working there anymore?
Yeah, even though I put my 2 weeks in.
They are claiming that you work there.
Yes, but I will say I just got approved for unemployment. I'm just waiting for the debit card to come in.
You're negative in your checking account.
Yes.
So you didn't have an emergency fund.
I did not.
And now having an emergency fund is an emergency. How much is in your checking account right now?
I have negative money in my checking account at the moment. So, yeah.
I get that you're unemployed, but why is there negative money?
Because I've still had bills to pay.
You got laid off, right?
I did.
Did you file for unemployment?
I did, but I'm being investigated. So, yeah.
For what?
I called the unemployment office. I said,
okay, they're investigating you?
Yes. So one of my old jobs was not agreeing to the terms that I was not employed there anymore.
What?
Yeah.
They're not agreeing to the terms that you're not working there anymore?
Yeah, even though I put my 2 weeks in.
They are claiming that you work there.
Yes, but I will say I just got approved for unemployment. I'm just waiting for the debit card to come in.
You're negative in your checking account.
Yes.
So you didn't have an emergency fund.
I did not.
And now having an emergency fund is an emergency. How much is in your checking account right now?
I have negative money in my checking account at the moment. So, yeah.
I get that you're unemployed, but why is there negative money?
Because I've still had bills to pay.
You got laid off, right?
I did.
Did you file for unemployment?
I did, but I'm being investigated. So, yeah.
For what?
I called the unemployment office. I said,
okay, they're investigating you?
Yes. So one of my old jobs was not agreeing to the terms that I was not employed there anymore.
What?
Yeah.
They're not agreeing to the terms that you're not working there anymore?
Yeah, even though I put my 2 weeks in.
They are claiming that you work there.
Yes, but I will say I just got approved for unemployment. I'm just waiting for the debit card to come in.
You're negative in your checking account.
Yes.
So you didn't have an emergency fund.
I did not.
And now having an emergency fund is an emergency. How much is in your checking account right now?
I have negative money in my checking account at the moment. So, yeah.
I get that you're unemployed, but why is there negative money?
Because I've still had bills to pay.
You got laid off, right?
I did.
Did you file for unemployment?
I did, but I'm being investigated. So, yeah.
For what?
I called the unemployment office. I said,
okay, they're investigating you?
Yes. So one of my old jobs was not agreeing to the terms that I was not employed there anymore.
What?
Yeah.
They're not agreeing to the terms that you're not working there anymore?
Yeah, even though I put my 2 weeks in.
They are claiming that you work there.
Yes, but I will say I just got approved for unemployment. I'm just waiting for the debit card to come in.
You're negative in your checking account.
Yes.
So you didn't have an emergency fund.
I did not.
And now having an emergency fund is an emergency. How much is in your checking account right now?
I have negative money in my checking account at the moment. So, yeah.
I get that you're unemployed, but why is there negative money?
Because I've still had bills to pay.
You got laid off, right?
I did.
Did you file for unemployment?
I did, but I'm being investigated. So, yeah.
For what?
I called the unemployment office. I said,
okay, they're investigating you?
Yes. So one of my old jobs was not agreeing to the terms that I was not employed there anymore.
What? How much money? Kidding.
Overall, her utility with her catapults is kind of nuts. She can make some insane damage using her catapults. And she can also use her catapults in combat against bosses. Gonna give her survivability of 5, utility of 9, and combat of 6. Now we have Wally. Wally is one of the most underestimated characters in the game. His hunger drains 20% faster, he can only eat crock-pot foods, and he remembers what he's eaten for 2 days. And if you eat the same thing within those 2 days, he receives less nutrition from eating the same food. He has unique cookware which cooks food 20% faster, and the best thing is there's food that only Wally can make, and the most notable ones are Volt Goat Shell Freud, which grants the user electric damage for 5 minutes, which gives you a massive damage bonus. Fish Cordon Bleu, which, I don't know if I said that right, which provides wetness immunity for 5 minutes. Hot Dragon Chili Salad, which increases your temperature by 45 minutes. This is enough to stop you from freezing in winter. And Asparagus-Pacho, I think, decreases temperature by 45 minutes, which stops you from overheating in summer. The ingredients for these recipes are kind of hard to get, so it's not very good in the early game, but mid to late game, Wally is very good. He can also add spices to any crockpot dish, which gives the following effects. Chili flakes grants the user 20% more damage. Honey crystals doubles your mining, chopping, and hammering efficiency. Seasoning salt increases the health value of the food that you're eating by 25%, and garlic powder absorbs 33% damage after armor damage reduction. So, like I said, in the mid to late game, Wally is way better than in the early game, because in the early game, you don't have all of the ingredients readily available, nor can you mass produce them very easily. His survivability is a 5. His utility, though, is a 10 out of 10, and his combat is an 8 out of 10 because of his Volt Goat Shell Freud. Now we have Wartox. Wartox is a monster and gains half the nutrition from all food. Creatures that are aggressive to weather are also aggressive towards Wartox. When a mob dies near Wartox, they drop a soul. This soul can only be collected by Wartox, and Wartox can eat these souls for 18.75 hunger and -5 sanity, or he can drop them for area of effect healing for him and his team. The healing starts at 20, so it can go down to 13 per player, and it goes down 1 point to every person that benefits from the heal. Wartox can use a soul to also teleport anywhere on screen like a Lazy Explorer, and these souls are extremely easy to farm, as most mobs drop 1 soul, including like butterflies and bees, and bosses drop 7 to 8 souls. Wartox can only hold 20 souls at once, otherwise he will drop half of them and then lose 20 sanity, and souls cannot be stored anywhere except directly in Wartox's inventory. But you can effectively store souls in your inventory by stacking a stack of bees in your inventory and then murdering them when you want souls. Wartox can heal very easily, so his survivability is 9 out of 10. His utility is kind of good as well because he can heal his team, so that's 7 out of 10. And his combat is a 6 out of 10 just because he can brute force through killing stuff, but just because he can heal himself. And now we have Wormwood. Wormwood is a plant and cannot heal from edible food. Yes, you heard that correctly. He can only heal from items and effects, such as like Jelly Bean's effect, Spider Glands, and the Bat. He has a crafting tab where he can craft living logs, costing 20 health, a bramble, which is some armor that's 65% damage reduction, and when you get hit while wearing it, it does AoE damage to mobs around you, 22.6 damage, and it prevents damage from bramble traps. Bramble traps are similar to tooth traps, but with less damage and the damage is AoE. And a compost wrap that can be used to heal Wormwood for 8 HP and then 32 HP over 32 seconds. It can also be used in farming. Wormwood can plant seeds outside of farming turf. Normal turf does not store nutrients, so you can't make giants if you farm that way. But Wormwood can also plant seeds on farming turf without the need to till the ground, which just makes farming faster. Wormwood also gains 10 sanity from planting plants and loses 5 sanity from digging them up. Wormwood can use fertilizers to bloom and heal. He also blooms naturally in spring, and when he's fully bloomed, he has a 1.2 times speed multiplier, a 1.2 times hunger drain, and he automatically tends to planted crops. Since the plant, high plants are neutral towards Wormwood, and Wormwood is immune to hostile weeds and farming plots. Now initially you think it's hard to heal, but you can use Wartox to heal and farm living logs easily, and you can also make a Bat relatively easily to heal as well. So his survivability is a 4 just because healing can be tough in the early game, but his utility is a 7 for that easy living logs. His combat I'm also going to put at a 4 since, again, getting hit is kind of a hassle because then it's kind of a hassle to heal. Otherwise, he's the best farming character in the game.
Next we have Word. Word is a merm, and she is also a vegetarian, so she cannot eat meat, and she can also eat goodies like taffy and jelly beans. Word walks 30% faster on large turf. She can craft a merm structures, one of which spawns a normal merm, and another one which spawns a royal merm guard. She can also build a structure so that you can erect a merm king, and when there is a merm king alive, it buffs all merms across the world, and it buffs Word's stats. So she goes from 150 to 250 health, 200 to 250 hunger, and 150 to 200 sanity. Any vegetables, fruits, or butterflies that Word eats provides 33% extra hunger to Word. Keeping a fish in Word's inventory makes her gain 3.3 sanity per minute. Fish held by Word will also stay alive for longer, so they'll survive up to 4 days. This is particularly good with two fish, the ice bream and the scorching sunfish, both of which keep your temperatures hot and cold for winter and summer. And since Word is a merm, pigs are aggressive to her, she cannot trade with a pig king, and when she holds meat or dead fish, she loses 4.4 sanity per minute. Word is basically a vegetarian Wilson until the late game. Building all of the merm structures is really expensive, so you won't be doing it very soon. You'll be doing it in the mid to late game. So survivability is 5, utility is 6, because her royal merm guards can obliterate bosses once you have enough of them, but it requires a lot of setup, and then her combat is a 5. Next we have Wong.
Alo, mitä ei?
Almis.
Voi boss.
Tuutko meillä? Me mennään, minä Aras, Iivari ja Ville. Me ollaan autoa, sä voit nyt tulla alas, me napataan.
Minne tätä menossa?
Meille.
Miten tuunat? Pelaatko vaan FIFA?
Ei, me mennään vaan chillaa sinne. Suoraan.
Kuin nopea te ootte tossa?
No me käydään nyt nopea Hakaniemen SS.
Joo, mä tuun joku puoli tuntia, mennä ajoissa nukkuun, mutta toi natsaa.
Ai, tulos makes.
Joo, jos te pystytte, se olisi leijä.
Jes, no niin. Oot alhaalla 5 minuutin päästä.
No niin, moi. Joo, moi.
Laifi, morjesta. Nyt on tää somessa ihan hirveä mylläkkä käynnissä. Ja kaikki varmaan tietää, mistä puhutaan. Ensinnäkin on ihan...
Why you be text me back? Why you don't be text me back?
What are you even talking about?
Man, you know I'd be busy though.